right, I think let's crack on. Welcome everyone to another AMA with the FreeBnk. Today we are discussing RWA mass adoption and user experience with the pioneer of the industries. Right now, Kima is here, Imani is here, RWA Inc. and IXSwap. Very glad to host this events as a FreeBnk. Before introduce my guest, I just hand it over to them. I just would like to introduce myself. My name is Yunus. I'm CEO and founder of the FreeBnk. If I give a bit of background about myself, I start my career working as working with a couple of big banks, and then became an entrepreneur without knowing what is the entrepreneurship. I'm a self-taught, fortunate enough to work with the biggest brands and retailers all around the world to understand the customer acquisition, user experience, and all of those things. In 2012, someone sent me an article about the Bitcoin, and then I started digging, and then I fall in love with the idea. And from that moment, I started investing in the cryptos, I started investing in the projects, and then started thinking about to do something in this the field. And 2022, fast forward 2022, it felt right, and then I started FreeBnk. If people doesn't know the FreeBnk is a banking 2.0. We are obsessed with the mass adoption, and we're trying to create something between Web 2, legacy banking, and then Web 3, the crypto banking together. To able to do that, we are trying to move complexity of the crypto world and bring in best of both worlds onto the market. So I would like to hand it over to my guest. Just see the next to me is Kevin from RWA Inc. Kevin.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin Yunai. I'm the founder and CEO of RWA Inc. And we are real-world asset tokenization ecosystem and building a tokenization platform, marketplace, and also launchpad for RWAs. We have partnered with FreeBnk and many other infrastructure partners, such as Entangle and all the e-money and all the infrastructure partners you can imagine, so that we are able to deliver a full service, agnostic, we have to be agnostic, unfortunately, ecosystem to all our clients with different needs and different priorities. And we're here today to really go in detail about RWA.
Yeah, Julian, if you can, IXSwap, Julian.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, thanks for having us on. Hi, everybody. My name's Julian. I'm co-founder CEO of IXSwap. We were the first builders in the RWA space, started out in Asia in 2017-18. IXSwap is the Uniswap for RWA. It's a way that anyone with a real-world asset token to start a legal compliant liquidity pool. So it runs through securities licenses for retail investors, as well as crypto and custody licenses, which have taken nearly 3 years to get. And we also have a launchpad to help more projects get off the ground. And we're currently built on Polygon and Ethereum Polygon. We're moving to a couple new chains, or we're adding a couple new chains. And it's great to be here to talk about RWA. Thank you.
That's great to hear, Julian. So, Raj, if you can introduce yourself and the company, please.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. This is Raj Bagadi, founder and CEO of E-Money Network, part of the Scale-up ecosystem. We are in this industry since 2020, and we're working on a base layer regulated infrastructure, which will bring both Web 2 and Web 3 in one place in a safe and secure manner. My background, I'm a certified AML specialist in UK, qualified in economics from Oxford, and work with several fintech organizations. And mainly we came and helped a lot of crypto-based organizations to adopt Web 2 in Web 3 industry. So E-Money Network is a first ever public permissioned network, which allows people to create anything in Web2, which is always done in a regulated manner in Web3, and can bring the liquidity in Web2 into Web3. And of course, it allows people to spend their yield and rewards and profits back in Web2 seamlessly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much to you. So, Eitan, you're the last one.
Yeah, hi everyone, and thanks for having me here. I'm Eitan Katz, co-founder and CEO of Kima. My background is in deep technological products. Started as a software engineer. Did a variety of roles in the high tech, deep tech industry, and started Kima 2.5 years ago to solve a problem that we had in another project regarding the fragmentation and interoperability between asset ecosystems. So Kima is a blockchain-based solution that addresses the need to move around liquidity and data between disparate ecosystems that have no way to share liquidity and information. So we've built a unique solution that is based on several unique innovations that allow us to remove any dependency on the technological stack of the ecosystems that we connect, and therefore use those pipes of data and liquidity without the use of smart contracts or any tech specific dependencies. And we provide these services to applications in the payment and real world asset segments.
Thank you very much, Eitan. They're glad to hear that. So let's move forward to the topics of this AMA, and then let's start with the bit more general aspect of it, because some of the audience doesn't know what is the RWA and what does it mean, because at the end of the day we are talking user experience and the use case for the end user. So I think let's start with what is RWA and what brings on the financial system. Anyone wanna start with?
I'll be happy to give an overall overview
Go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
Of what RWA is as a narrative. So real world assets as a whole are various asset classes within the real world assets. And real estate is something everybody knows about. That's a big chunk of the whole market is actually tokenized real estate.
Correct.
We also have commodities as a very growing real world asset that is being deployed on chains right now. And that can be everything from gold to copper powder, copper, nickel, and all kinds of commodities you can imagine. We see oil, and especially oil, being tokenized now. And that's because the oil producers and oil asset owners can see that they need to do something, right? So they are tokenizing
Correct,
oil.
Yeah.
But we also see things like private equity grow very fast at the moment, and also IP rights and Veblen goods and other luxury items being tokenized. So it's really a movement all over. We do know that, of course, the bonds and all the stocks and all that is also being tokenized, but that's kind of a category for itself. But that's a general overview of what RWA is.
Absolutely. So before I hand over to someone else, I just would like to play a role with a bit of evil. So why should I invest rather than real gold to tokenized gold, or why should I invest the real other than real property or just a tokenized property? So what you think about this? If you hand it over to Raj or Julian or Eitan.
It's a great question, and actually I have the answer for it, because what happens once you put the real world asset into and onto the blockchain and activate the approximately 1 billion wallets that are out there. Obviously, some have more than one wallet, some have multiple wallets. That's why it's 1 billion. But no matter how we put it, we get access to 1 billion wallets once we activate a real world asset onto chain. And that is very important, because it basically generates what we call a speculative layer, because it is indeed a speculative layer on top of the real world asset real world layer. You get the combination of both an asset that has one-to-one value, plus you get a speculation layer on top that makes the token go up, and you basically get that on top of your investment. So no matter how we put it, and when we see across the crypto industry, we know that the industry is a little bit crazy sometimes, right?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
23% of all investment goes into meme coins with absolutely no value, right?
Yeah,
so we are in a situation where people like the gamification part as well. And this is what we have to remember. People think it's fun to be in the crypto space. Yeah. And they often invest in things that doesn't make sense from a traditional finance perspective.
Yeah, I mean, for them is the crypto is a magic money coming somewhere,
And everything is about our ROI, and everything is about maximizing your profit on your investment. But what makes real world assets so fantastic is that while it's fun, while it increases, and while there's this big community hyping the project, you also have real value behind the assets. And that's what makes it extremely exciting.
Absolutely. Finally you can put your magic money to use case, isn't it? You can actually bring the, the actual income from the real world assets.
And let's remember one thing. Bitcoin in itself, as you all know, is the most valuable digital asset out there. And it has no backing. It has no intrinsic value. The value is the concept, the math behind the architecture of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has inspired us all to do our own tokens. So there is value when you put real world asset on chain. The technology adds extra value. The community adds extra value. So it's a fact, and that is what many in traditional finance, they do not understand this.
Correct. Anyone to join, guys?
I can add what Julian mentioned over before. I will not go into the details of the RWA, which is Julian already covered, really fantastic over there. But I will answer your second question, which is why it is necessary right now to tokenize it.
So that's why we partner with companies like Kima and really want to build the infrastructure, because we want really to make it easy for non-cryptos also to onboard into this space.
That's perfect. Yeah, great. Raj, you are saying something, I think.
Sorry. As Kevin is speaking, so I just stopped myself. No, but that's really right what Kevin mentioned over there. But I want to cover only one point which you mentioned. Second one is that why real world assets have to be tokenized, and why we can't buy them in the real world. I see this as two sides of the coin. There are two different communities, completely two different markets, doing things in two different ways. Yeah, it's like a clap, two hands come together to make the loud noise. But to maximize the rewards, to maximize the reach, or both sides need liquidity. Real world need more people to buy the real world assets, which can increase the buy pressure. On the same time, which is what Kevin mentioned before, billions of wallets can access, which increases the reach. At the same time, Web3 also need an extra pool of assets which can increase the TVL. I mean, this is something I covered previously as well, is we need to increase the TVL of the crypto from 1.5 to 3 trillion, 5 trillion, 10 trillion.
Absolutely.
Numbers doesn't go magically up, right? The money has to flow from somewhere to inside. Yeah. So we need a resource. We need a new platform, which is the real world assets. And of course, there is a huge, as Kevin mentioned before, it's really backed. It has a value. It has everything. And by opening it, by activating that.
Raj, I think your connection is gone.
Me?
Yeah, I think your connection is gone, Raj.
Oh, apologies for that. Yeah. Sorry, I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of activating the reach for both sides. So by tokenizing real world assets, now we are bringing more liquidity into Web3. At the same time, Web2 is getting more users who can buy the real world assets as well. It's beneficial to both sides.
Perfect. That's great.
If I may add, Yunus.
Yes, of course.
So I want to provide the technological angle and for the benefits of tokenization. So obviously, commodities are being traded for thousands of years, so indeed the question why tokenizing commodities, why tokenizing financial assets that already have markets, and from a technological perspective, part of the answer is the technological benefits of tokenization over the traditional incarnation of those assets. So tokenized anything benefits from the blockchain settlement, namely instantaneous settlement of transactions. That is something that the traditional financial system is still struggling to do. So instead of T+4 business days, we're talking about T+0. The moment a transaction is approved, is signed, it is settled immediately. So that's one benefit of the technology. And imagine now how those assets, what's the volume that can be if those transactions get settled immediately. And the other technological aspect is the fact that in smart contracts and tokenized assets, everything is composable. So these components are now composable, that they can be part of other applications.
Correct.
So you can. We all know this from the crypto space, right? You can use one asset as collateral for another service, and these services are not even integrated. So this type of composability brings a lot of innovation, and basically it adds a layer that we know from DeFi to TradFi, which creates a whole lot of additional opportunities for innovation.
Absolutely right. So, Julian, I think you want to add something.
Yeah, I was going to add. Yeah. The history of RWA is about 6 years old, and it used to be called security tokens. There's a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon now, thinking it's a great time to launch a project and a token, but the super majority of real world assets that matter, that anyone cares about, are actually securities, and they're all going to require licensing to do that legally, compliantly. So when I think about RWA, I think about 3 buckets. So one bucket's like financial instruments, which is what you're seeing now with probably the most successful, or most the assets that's found the most market adoption, which is the tokenized treasuries and the tokenized money market funds. That's great. It serves a very important purpose in the ecosystem, but it's not very interesting to degens and crypto investors, and none of them are available for retail investors that I'm aware of. So all the crypto degens are pumping the RWA utility tokens. They're not even aware that those platforms are not even servicing them. They can't actually buy the real world asset token because they're not interested in a 5% yielding asset. But again, it's very, very valuable for the marketplace, right? Other types of RWAs are certainly not securities. I guess people could say something like tokenizing baseball cards, or even some types of commodities like whiskey and wine. They're sitting in their own kind of category. But there hasn't really been any marketplaces to deal with that because as an asset class, they're not securities and they're not cryptocurrency. So they don't sit on cryptocurrency exchanges and they don't sit on licensed real world asset platforms. But it's interesting, right? But the biggest asset, the most valuable to most people, is the private markets, which includes tokenizing companies, startups, real estate shares, private equity shares, and that whole bucket, which is very, very large. And then people right now are predominantly focusing on the very simple 101 concept of, tokenize a share of a company. It's liquid, it's tradable, it's better, it's blockchain. That was the narrative 6 years ago. The actual benefits are far deeper than that. If you can actually take these assets and use them for collateral, I should say, lend on them, borrow them, stake on them. That's a new dimension of value for that asset. And you can see that starting to appear. And then it goes, the ultimate game here is that you have crypto assets, you have NFTs, altcoins, Bitcoins, and then you have real world asset tokens alongside of that. But the only way that you can actually do that is if the real world asset platforms have worked out all the legalities and the licensing behind that, because the crypto guys are not allowed to launch real world asset equity tokens. FTX and Binance tried this 2 years ago, failed, no licensing. Coinbase is back today doing it. They've got a license out of Abu Dhabi, but that shows that 2.0 version. But there's a lot more going on than a lot of the basic ideas that are thrown around.
Absolutely. So we have really eye-opening opinions from our guests. My addition is going to be a more naive and more retail perspective. For me, it's a real-world asset tokenization, removing the borders for the people who are not fortunate enough to invest to the component not available in their country. I'm originally from Turkey, but I've been living in the UK, so I can talk about the bit of both worlds. So it's not the investment and financial, the opportunity is not equal on the emerging market in UK. One of the center of the legacy finance is not available in the other countries. So for my edition, the RWA bring that into the market, like equality, accessibility to the market. So let's move forward to a little bit of the juicy aspect, because everybody is in this audience keeping some tokens, looking for the trends. What do you think about? Do you think in this bull run, RWA is gonna be the lead this bull run? And then, if you don't mind, I would like to just read this small example. The last week, we made the initial listing, and then we made a 25x in our token. So which win for all of us, or all RWA project, because people are actually valuing the real RWA projects, and then actually valuing the product, not just a meme coin, make some quick, back and then remove. So what do you think about, guys, for that? Anyone can join.
As many of you know, we are also preparing our launch of our token, and we strongly see a big demand for real world asset tokens in general. We had more than 11 million, I think, in buy pressure to invest in our token, but we chose not to take 9 of the millions because we don't want to make a Christmas tree on launch day. So we are long term in our strategy. We don't care much about X in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So but yeah, I really think we are one of the strongest narrative, if not the strongest narrative in the space right now. And I'm very happy that we are working so closely together in the industry as we do. It's
absolutely,
it's not seen in any other industry that competitors, like some are actually best partners and working on improving each other's offerings. So it's just very unique for our industry. And because the industry is so big, we are talking about a $16.1 trillion industry, according to Boston Finance.
Yes.
Or Boston Consulting Group. We really have so much opportunity that it doesn't make sense to even compete. So we see a tremendous partnership across the industry. We see all the infrastructure partners partnering with us, and it's truly amazing, and I'm so excited about it.
Absolutely, and I agree with you, because we can't do this alone. We need a whole ecosystem, connecting each other, the sharing each other. I definitely agree with you. So, Julian, I think you wanna,
So if you look at Q1, you talked about investment prices and everything, which is obviously always super important for the community. The second best performing crypto asset, if RWA is classified as one, was RWA after meme coins, right?
Yeah.
And then what you're seeing now with this super choppy price movement, sideways action, very typical after halvings, it's still RWA utility tokens, remember, very different. The cryptocurrencies are just the utility tokens. They're not real world asset tokens themselves. They're the native tokens of the platforms. They're still doing pretty well, pretty solid. And I think if you look at what's going on in the marketplace, which is a whole bunch of crap, and there's new tokens launching every 2 seconds, and it's just completely washed out.
Yeah.
The actual TVL for real world asset platforms that actually have real world asset like on their tokenized treasuries is growing. So I think it's very bullish for, the industries. What you'll find though is that I think regardless of RWA, I think my own personal prediction is, because there's so many new tokens now, it's going to be, and if you launch a project to raise money by doing a token, which is great, it's how the whole system works. If you have this huge lag between actually having a product live, it's going to be massively detrimental to the token price. But yeah, I think RWA as a whole is bullish. It's one of the only things I can see across the space that's growing, again, besides memes, but we're in the middle of Q2 and it's the market's leaders are the same as they were in Q1, which is meme coins followed by RWA.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. Raj, Eitan, you want to add? Yeah.
Sure. I will dissect the question into 2 parts. Yeah. I mean, whether the token will do well, whether RWA tokens will do well. I mean, 2 parts here. To any token to do really well, it's very important that the retail community are well aware of what the token is, and it's in short. What is meant by a token did well or not, as you mentioned before, it's just not about the number of access it do on the TGE. It's about how much the project was successful in bringing the retail to sit on an exchange to put their money in and the orders. Yeah, that's very important. Now, it can be done depending on how strong the project is, how strong the narrative is. And of course, in those 2 parts, RWA fits really well in the narrative side. RWA right now is a very good narrative. The market is really running around it because of the liquidity, because of the new way it is going to pump the liquidity into the system, how it's going to bring more users and everything. So with respect to, as RWA is a very strong narrative right now, and if the product is really, really good, using that narrative, that it is bringing the right use cases to the community, where, I mean to say, the retail users here, the retail users can, bet on it, or they can put money on it, and as the result out of it, they can use the product which is really built on top of it. And those kind of projects will definitely do well in the market. That is what we see as a strong thing, is to build the right product which retail can use after the TGA, which is very, very important. And if the project have the product before the TGA, which is even better because you proved yourself before the TGA, then they definitely do far better than other projects here.
Absolutely. 100% agree with you.
So one comment that I just want to add, and I agree with everything that was said here. So in our market, catalysts are extremely important, and obviously we see every narrative that gains a lot of attention. There are catalysts that drive this type of attention. So we see it with AI. We see it in some other narratives.
Metaverse, yeah, NFTs,
Metaverse,
yeah, yeah.
We're an industry that is fueled by, whenever a blue chip name shows interest in something that we're doing, immediately that becomes a catalyst by itself. So for RWAs, we saw the BlackRock attention getting into the space. They're not the first traditional finance institution that shows interest. We saw Franklin Templeton tokenizing a fund, and Societe Generale and some others. JP Morgan is experimenting with it, but BlackRock seems to go really deep into this space. They issued a report, and they have a fund that they're tokenizing. The report projects per BlackRock a market, tokenization market of $10 trillion worth of assets.
Yeah.
So that's the opportunity that everyone is eyeing and trying to get a piece. The fund that they tokenized attracted $240 million in inflows within a week of its launch. So the numbers are really, really staggering, and I guess that this is one of the main catalysts that we need as an industry. But that alone is not enough. Obviously, we need to keep building, keep growing, create more adoption, making everything accessible in various markets. And this panel is the people here are doing exactly that.
Absolutely, and then 100% agree with you. And then I just would like to connect from your last comment, and then to the user experience, because to able to the mass adapt and bring more liquidity to the market, we need easy the customer experience. So it's my subject in that matter is going to be what do you think about the user experience in the crypto as a whole, and specifically on the RWA. Because there is some examples, but not in the RWA investment, not too many examples available. So as a whole, what do you think about the crypto to able to to be able to mass adapt? Anyone can join.
I can start.
Yeah.
So yeah, to continue my previous point, obviously, we all know. I mean, those who are in this industry, those who tried ever to swap something on a decentralized exchange or send a token, we know this. In a way, I can say clunky user experience. Definitely, if we compare it to the traditional finance or other applications that we're so accustomed to use. So obviously there's a huge gap in user experience, and it's not just the UI. It's something deeper. It's
the fundamental. Definitely the
exactly.
Yeah. In the fundamental, I just would like to add you, because it's if you want to web through legacy customer to come to the market in crypto as a whole, we need to get rid of some of the the aspect. For example, seed phrase, gas fees, because it's to average people doesn't understand that. If you're not a crypto native, there is a time gonna come. We can, the people is Gen Z, or I don't know. It's the new kids gonna come to the market, and then over 18 they can understand that. But right now we need something simple, to easy to use. The complexity is removed. from the crypto transaction, and then to able to people freely invest. Security is the most important, because we see in the deep, if you are not the crypto native, it's really challenging to even open a create a wallet. So in that matter, I definitely agree with you. Anybody wants to tag along, guys?
Here, I really want to do a shout out for Kima and the whole offering that Kima offers, and our excitement to partner and integrate to Kima and associated partners. We really think that by having all this infrastructure ready for the Web 2, that we can make a tremendous impact exactly on the onboarding process and give the users, as also is mentioned here, a nice experience. I mean,
absolutely,
you can't have a 67-year-old fund manager install a seed phrase. I mean, it's just not possible, right?
Yes.
With no offense, but you just can't ask them to do it. They don't understand it. They don't want to understand it. They just want it seamless and easy. So it's very much about onboarding the right way and making it easy for the customer. Give them their Swift account and their normal accounts on top of also offering them digital assets.
Correct.
And really, help them transform in a way that they don't have to switch their bank. Because how should they do that? Like, yeah, you can convert some fiat into Bitcoin and USDT, but again, even that process makes them even back off the project, because they don't want to do KYC for some onboarding on-ramp company, right?
Yeah.
They don't have time to do it. So we have to make it easy to swipe your card, to wire the funds, and then we take care of it. And that's really, I think, where Kima and RWA and others will take the industry, because we know how the customers want to do it, and we want to make it easy for them.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the one of the key motto of the FreeBnk as well. We remove the gas transaction, we remove all of those things, to able to just offer easy user experience. So Julian,
Yeah, I think the user experience is obviously an issue, but that's a Web 2, Web 3 issue. I don't wake up every day trying to find something to sell to a 70-year-old person. They're not buying meme coins and crypto. I think the UX UI is certainly just a whole industry issue. The number one thing is very simple. You need to be able to buy real world assets as easy as buying crypto. That's it. So what does that mean is you need to go get retail investor licenses that have very basic KYC, because you can't sell securities without them. And then you need to build a UX UI, but they need to be able to buy it. You're not going to get any adoption from crypto guys if they can't buy it. So buying the utility token is not adoption of the real world asset platforms in its entirety. It certainly is one part of it, and it's just one of the crazy parts of crypto, but they need to be able to buy it. And that's one thing that still the super majority, if not 99% of real world asset platforms, they don't sell to retail investors. So that's the main problem that needs to be solved.
Absolutely. Raj, you want to add something?
Yeah. Sure. I mean, there are two parts to it. Again, I see it as making UX as a journey, making it easier for the user to onboard it. That's of course, it's always needed. The more easier we make it, the more easier it gets. It's get better. But at the same time, are we going to make a buying and selling of an RWA easier as a UI or UX to the user? Mm-hmm. That's debatable, because as Julian mentioned before, RWAs are not just like any Bitcoin or any Ethereum that anybody can just go and buy it or swap it in a MetaMask or anything. It comes with its own bells and whistles. It's got regulations. It's got compliance. As I mentioned last time, buying and selling of an apartment of Burj Khalifa might be easier because the government allows foreigners to buy and sell it. But at the same time, buying and selling of a house in US or in Canada or even in UK, it has its own bells and whistles. I can't just randomly go and tokenize a house or anything. Even let it be for buying a Tesla share. I have to go through a broker platform where they ask me a couple of questions. I have to answer financial questions, etc. So it comes its own regulations to follow it. And we are, again, everybody have to follow it. Unfortunately, there is no way we can say that we don't, yes or no. So what I say is a product which is facing user directly, for them, the UI UX is very important. And that product always relies on an infrastructure layer product which will make their life easier. In a simple example, let's take even Web2, which is always regulated, Revolut, fantastic. Of course, the user have to go through the process, but Revolut use Onfido as a background to do the KYC, which makes the user UX easy. It doesn't mean Revolut does it. So it's a systematic process of a business relying on another business where everybody combined together to make the UX flow easier. So there are some complications which we have to come over still, but I'm sure they will get more easier down the line. I'm talking only about buying of RWA and selling of RWA only. Other assets are very easy. We all know that. So there are still some complications which we need to come over, but still there's a lot of room for projects, RWA projects, to make the UX, UI very, very easier for users to buy and sell them in the market. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we need a very big room to grow and then make it easy for everyone, for the not just on the RWA, for the crypto and then your crypto experience, to be able to bring a bit of the best to both worlds, Web 2, Web 3, together. So I just would like to we answered part by part with this the question, but. Do you think, because we are talking about the mass adoptions and all of those things, which is one of the subject on this, the AMA, do you think RWA will be the key for mass adoption, bring more retail users to the market? And then, if you don't mind, I can start with that, because for me is a big yes. As I mentioned in there, because the people, plenty of crypto haters, yeah, and then they are giving an example of the meme coins, this doesn't make sense, etc. Right now, there is an opportunity. You can use your crypto, to buy fractional share from some property when it's available, and then make passive income, and then removing borders, removing the complexity, and also removing to do, bring the equality for wherever you are. You can able to do that. For me, is you can start Kevin if you want it, or anybody if open.
Yeah, maybe I can
Yeah.
chip in. I think we will see massive consumer adoption and retail adoption into crypto in general, and also especially RWAs. We can see it already. And we have to remember that many of the current retail investors and Web2 population in general, they have not had the best performance either on the traditional asset classes. So they look, and let me give you an example, concrete example. We are searching for a CFO, and we put an ad on LinkedIn, and we got more than 400 applications for CFO position. And that was primarily from Web2 corporate finance people in CFO, big positions. And what that tells me is everybody wants in. And because the industry is so hyped right now, we really have the attention of the Web2 people. And I think that is a very good picture of what is happening, that you have fund managers sitting with traditional assets and they just know Bitcoin is the right asset. Maybe their board still don't understand it, but they do because they are clever finance people. So I think there's a lot of people wanting to get in, but maybe a little too afraid to really go all in on Web3 still. They have their safe jobs, they have their safe positions, but we can really see from the applications alone that
Yeah, absolutely.
There's about to happen a big shift here.
Yeah, I mean, and also because I just would like to add, the new age is coming in the market. They are looking for a different type of the asset to invest. I just want to give you one indirect example. In this NFT, metaverse bubble, I try to explain to my friends, what is metaverse, because it was in the bubble, everybody's investing there. And then around me, my kids, he was 10 years old at the moment. And then he started listening, and then I see his attention, and then like it, and then explain to him. In 2 minutes, he get it because he's playing Roblox, which is some kind of metaverse, and some type of it's kind of you can earn, you can do something in there, like exactly like a metaverse. So this new age, born this era. So obviously they're looking for, not they're going to invest in the bonds and etc. They're looking for something in that method. Even, for example, we are talking about RWA for now, but maybe it's going to be like a metaverse asset to the real world, something vice versa. It can be happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Julian, Raj, Eitan.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can go in. Absolutely, Yunus. I mean, there will be a huge interest already. I mean, there is one important thing Eitan mentioned before. For any kind of narrative to get a lot of attention from the public or to get a lot of interest is, of course, the blue chip companies have to show interest. Now we know BlackRock showed heavy interest. Of course, the eyes are on the RWA, and as a result, a lot of people are now showing huge interest in investing in RWA tokens. The narrative is very hot. It's the right time, and it will carry on for the next few. I mean, for at least one bull run, I can tell. I won't say that it will be like as you mentioned, like a MetaMask or NFTs, but metaverse or NFTs. But the RWA will carry on. And second most important thing is, of course, the amount of liquidity it can bring into the Web3 is massive. So the interest will carry on, and with of course big companies, big projects building on top of this narrative will bring more users' interest into this ecosystem. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I think Julian.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, it's not, just saying RWA and we're tokenizing stuff is not going to do anything. You have to actually have real products that are attractive. And that was the failure of the RWA space early on, and it's changing now. And so now it's a combination of sets that people really want to buy that aren't just the digital version of, there's something more interesting for them that they can do with them, as well as the user experience, as well as being able to buy them as easy as buying crypto. There's like the three buckets. They all have to kind of work.
Yes, absolutely. Eitan, you want to add, or?
Yeah, just one thought that was raised earlier, but I think it's very relevant for adoption, and that is the fact that this time around, we're not talking about questioning the intrinsic value, because the value of real-world assets, as the name implies, is rooted in real-world assets. So this is something that is easier for the masses to comprehend in terms of value, tangible value. So I think that as an asset class, it is easier to adopt, and this has the opportunity to bring people that beforehand didn't even want to touch crypto assets.
Yes, absolutely. Agree with you. This is, the real world is bringing to the crypto, and this is a must. So before we close to AMA, there is hundreds of questions from the audience. I would like to just ask a couple of them to the speakers. Mainly the question is coming for plenty of questions, but in the perspective of the regulation, because the Joe Merfar asked, the different countries have different regulation regarding tax when it comes to the renting property or to providing rent from the property investment? Do you have any solution for this? That's the one question. Whoever wants to, yeah.
Take it. I can take it. That's very, very relevant to us. So very, very good question. Whoever asked the question. The question follows the main question: why RWA taking so long to get adopted? Where everybody getting adopted so quickly? That was the question, because of the regulations barrier. So every country has its own regulations, and as I mentioned this in the previous AMA as well, is that well, let's take a very good example. I want to have an apartment in Burj Khalifa. I want to fractionalize it into 100 parts, and I want to sell each part as a token into the market. Now, how sure the buyer of the token is that they are the owner of the apartment? How they can verify it? And how sure you have the custody of the apartment? I mean, that's the main problem, right? In the real world assets, always is, where is the custody? How sure I own the custody? These are the main things. Now, to make it happen, there are different ways. For the question, I will answer in relevant ways. Every country has its own regulations, but there is always a golden policy that has to be maintained, which is what it is. Standard AML policies are maintained all across the world, like standard sanctioned countries, standard restricted list, standard restricted jurisdictions, and all those things. But there are certain, for example, when it comes to the Dubai, I say, like, you have REITs. Yeah. Now, instead of selling the apartment, fractionalized apartment directly in the market, you can sell the apartment through a REIT, where the REIT will be distributing the tokens to the token holders, different parts of the world. Now, I can go, let it be MR or whoever it is, I can go there and I can verify it myself, whether I own the portion of the apartment. It will confirm you that, yes, you own the portion of the apartment. But that country should let, first of all, you to buy the token as a foreigner. If the country doesn't allow a foreigner to buy an apartment, of course, the question dies over there that unfortunately you can't buy the RWA. So regulations are very important with respect to the local jurisdiction. If the regulation doesn't allow, then unfortunately there is no way we can do it. And we are not above any country regulations, whoever we are, when it comes to real world assets, because we are dealing with real world assets. There is no way around for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the simple answer is investors are responsible for paying tax in their own country, and they need to make sure the project is paying the applicable taxes in the country where the asset is being is right. So real estate in Dubai is the real estate operating. So that's the simple version.
Yes. The Kwan, Eitan, wanna hop in, or you want me to move another question?
Yeah, because unfortunately there are some problems with some of the speakers sound in my ears for some reason. So please go ahead and ask a question for us.
I mean, the question was, yeah, okay. So let me move to the another question then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, sure. So the one question is, what are the risk management policies for the safeguard investment credits granted by the platform? I think this question is for e-money. How do you really ensure there is a backup base rely on the face of a situation, sudden change in the crypto markets? Right. This question was for you.
Sorry. Sorry, the question is, if there's a sudden change in the crypto market, what does that mean to the RWA market? Is that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Well, for all the utility tokens, they'll suffer the same pain or gain that the crypto market is, because utility tokens for RWA platforms are actually crypto. The actual real world assets themselves, the real world asset tokens, are meant to have absolutely zero connection to the price of Bitcoin moving. If you own a share of real estate or a private credit and you're getting a 10% return, whether Bitcoin goes up or down should make absolutely no difference to the return of your asset.
Absolutely.
Probably priced in US dollars.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think is the last question. Eitan, if you wanna, sorry.
Sorry, I apologize. I was speaking while it was on the mute. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I'd like to add one thing is that when it comes to the security or with respect to the credit and everything, as directly asked to e-money, I will say one thing. Yes, as you guys mentioned, absolutely right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really affect credit comes to the credit. But end of the day, every project with respect to Web2 connected always consider the worst case scenario. Like, okay, the worst case scenario is consider it has affected what's going to go wrong. So insurance is always very important with respect to it. So that's something is always been added as a backup in the back. But the question, answer the first question, no, it doesn't really affect because it's real world asset. Bitcoin goes up and down, gold never get affected. A Bitcoin goes up and down, Tesla share doesn't really get affected. Of course, it's on the market in the buy orders and sell orders. How the sell pressure is, how the buy pressure is will only varies the price of the real world assets and the real world side of it. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Anyone has anything to this question? All right. I think let's move to the last question. It's a bit of a general question. They are asking for the all panelists. What do you believe are from the Fahim set 440 asked the question to what do you believe are the most critical factor fostering innovation and growth within the blockchain and cryptocurrency space, especially for the RWA?
Yeah, I mean, innovation and crypto.
I can
First
start.
point. Yeah, point
I
number.
think making it
Okay, yeah.
accessible for everyone, everywhere, is a key to bringing the Web 2 into the space. I'm not too worried about the Web 3 people. They know that this is the narrative they have to invest in, and it's already accessible for the Web 3 industry in terms of going to the DEXs and the SEXs to chip in, ape in. So I think as an industry, we have a very big task in really defining how are we going to go to the market in the Web 2 industry, and how do we make it simple for people to invest. That's the key.
Absolutely. Raj, yeah.
Yeah. So that's absolutely right what Kevin has mentioned. And to add to that is Web3 itself, the technology which is very, very unique compared with the Web2. It's innovating every day as we are speaking because the innovation bringing new changes in the Web3 technology, which is making life more easier or investments more secure and safe. For especially RWA, to make it even more accessible, to bring RWAs more usable by the people. The technology have to move towards a bit more. I know Web3 is not meant for compliance, but need to move a bit more towards compliance. And that is where a lot of effort is going on in the Web3 side of it as well. Like, of course, the permission tokens. Solana recently did token extensions. Even Ethereum, Polygon worked a lot for the last few years to create tokenization of the RWA, even ZK proofs and everything. These innovations will create a path for RWAs to be, accessible in Web3, just like how they're accessible in Web2 right now.
Of course. Eitan, Julian, wanna hop in? Or
no, I think the guys have covered it quite well.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
Perfect. I think before I end and then hand it over to my guest for the last comments, I would like to give thanks for everybody joining in here. And if you're not following the FreeBnk, please follow us. Not only us, our the guests, Kima, e-money, RWA Inc, and IXSwap. We are everyone has exciting news on their social channel. And then I would like to thank you for everybody joining in here. Just would like to start with the Eitan from the last comment for this AMA, and then I will end the AMA.
Yeah, so I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk today to this audience. I think that the things that we covered today key things regarding adoption, regarding compliance, regarding the innovation, the technology, user experience. These are the main drivers that will make this segment succeed. And I want to thank the rest of the panel and the kind words from you, Kevin, as well. I think that is the essence of this segment, because in order to succeed, we have cross dependencies, and if we manage to collaborate, then we increase the odds for success for everyone.
Yes, absolutely. So, the Raj.
Yeah, first of all, thanks to FreeBnk for hosting the AMA. I think we covered some fantastic topics, which includes, like, as Eitan mentioned, a lot about RWA adoption, experience, compliance, regulations, and all the stuff, which is very, very helpful. And of course, especially thanks to the rest of the panel members, Kevin, Julian. It's a pleasure meeting you. Of course, it's a pleasure for hosting the thanks for hosting the event. And I'm really we're already partnering with most of the people here. I'm looking forward to speak to Julian as well, to see how we can explore the further, possibilities of working together. Yeah. And thank you very much for the community for joining the evening as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the pleasure to be host. Julian? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks FreeBnk and the rest of the hosts here. Wish everyone good luck building out their businesses. I think for everyone who's listening, the number one thing you can do is to register on platforms you like, go and buy something, set up wallets, actually own some real world asset tokens. It's a brand new kind of industry. So those that invest early who survive will capture the most. It's a new technology marrying with these huge marketplace. So, the only way to get in there and work it out is the same way that you had to do it with crypto. And that's the best way to learn and become better investors in the space.
Thank you very much. Kevin?
Thank you, guys. I also just want to say thank you for this opportunity, for this great AMA. It's great to be here with the great partners of ours, and really want to emphasize to go follow us all on our social medias, and go follow us here on Twitter, so you can follow the latest news about our integrations and all the work that we're doing together. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much for all of you guys, and thank you very much for the guests. I think we covered all of those things, and I'm ending the AMA. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Goodbye.